Hey everyone, it's the Municipal Man of Mystery here. Welcome to the show. We are talking today about panning, and that means can you get good stereo dynamics out of your Beat Buddy? And that's the question we're looking at today. So without further ado, let's get into it. Most people have noticed that your Beat Buddy comes with a stereo output left and right, and that leads many to believe that you can have a stereo sound in your song as you are playing. But to demonstrate how this works out, I've taken the stereo mix and I've split it between two tracks and I've panned them hard left and hard right. I'm also playing a song with a drum kit that uses all parts of the kit. And what we will notice is that it largely is the same. If you dial one in or dial one out, you're still hearing all parts of the kit. And that means we have what I guess they call stereo panning. I'm not an audio expert. I don't know if that's correct, but that means that the whole mix moves from the left to the right and you hear the whole thing. What most people are interested in is balanced panning, which means you would have a sweep from left to right, and that would be more like what you would hear in a recorded version of the song. That means if we take a stock Beat Buddy drum kit and we play it in a track, we're going to hear it the same. And if we use the mono output, it's largely going to sound the same. And that's because the drum kit is set up to play things mostly down the middle of the mix. And there aren't a lot of dynamics going left to right. So the question is, why does the Beat Buddy have a stereo output if the drum kits are not really set up to play them that way? And is there anything we can do about it? Well, that's what we're going to look at in the next part of the video, so stay tuned as we drill down on this issue.
I want you to have this video for free, but if you've got $2 or $3 lying around and you can kick them over here, it helps me take time from my real job and do more of this. So find the link below, go to PayPal, select only the least of what you can afford, and just know that I'd really appreciate it.
Now that we've seen how the Beat Buddy runs through your mix, let's take a look at this a little more closely and answer the question, does the panning information come from the MIDI parts of the song? Or is it the way that the wave samples are recorded in the sampler? It turns out it's the wave samples. And to demonstrate this, I've put one together. So if we go into Logic here, you can see that I've taken some wave samples and I'm making a rock kit. And what I've done is I have panned some parts of the drum kit left and right, and some are running up the middle. The kick is in the center, as you can see, but the toms are going to sweep from one side to the other. The hi-hat runs up the middle, and I have a crash cymbal and a splash cymbal that are panned hard left, hard right, and the ride cymbal is panned hard right. And what I've done is I've taken those wave samples and created a drum kit to see if the Beat Buddy would play the panned information and get a nice wide stereo sound. So let's go over to Beat Buddy Manager and see this in action. Here's my drum kit. I've called it Rockster. Get it? Rock stereo. I know, very clever. If I play the samples from this kit, you will hear the panned parts. As long as you're wearing headphones, I think it'd be more clear, but I'm sure you'll get the idea. So the kick is running in the center. So that would be the same for the snare and the hi-hat. But if I play the toms, you will hear them sweep from one side to the other. Okay, so I've taken those and I've created a drum kit to put into the Beat Buddy pedal. And now we just want to see if the Beat Buddy is actually going to play the widely panned stereo sound. So let's go over to songs, and I've put together a song, and the song is called Stereotype. I know, I'm still clever. And it's a pretty simple song. It's got two parts, and it plays all parts of the song. And, pretty simple song, but it plays all parts of the drum kit, and you'll hear the panning information as it comes up. So let's take a listen. So if I were to take that and put it in a project and put it on my SD card, plug it into my pedal, that's what I would hear, which is good to know. Let's go back over to Logic and compare this to one of the stock BeatBuddy kits. So what I've done here is I've taken those two MIDI loops that we've just listened to, and I'm using the BeatBuddy plugin emulator. And if you want to know a little more about the emulator, I just made a video about that. It's called Plugin. You should check it out. And I'm also going to bring in a level meter so we can see visually the stereo information as it plays. So let's take a listen to this track. You'll notice the last two loops, I have taken out the parts of the drum kit that are running up the center of the mix, and you can see the left and right parts clearly. And if you're watching the level meter, you can see the left and the right showing the hard panned information. So let's compare that to a stock BeatBuddy kit, and we'll use the rock kit and we'll play the same arrangement. Let me bring in this emulator here. Okay, so watch the level meters and you'll see that most of this drum kit runs up the middle. There is a little bit of panning done, but it's not very hard. And that way, everything in the mix is more or less centered. So this begs the question, why does the BeatBuddy have a stereo output if the drum kits are mostly running up the middle of the mix? And it's a good question. For my own ears, I find if I run the stereo mix on different tracks and I run the guitar and vocals up the middle, I get a little more of separation in the mix. I don't know if that's a real audio principle. I'm not an audio engineer and I'm willing to be proven wrong about that, but that's what I hear. There's a real world caveat here. If you're playing a live show and your audience is sitting square to your PA and you have a widely panned sound, that would probably sound pretty nice and they will hear all of it. However, we all know that sometimes you're playing in a room that's oddly shaped and you might turn your PA speakers to, fill the room. And that would mean that one side of the room is hearing part of your fill and the other side is not. So there's some logic to having it sort of err towards the averages and you just run things up the middle. And probably just using the left mono will sound good, but if you use a stereo output, it requires another patch cord, which is an extra expense. I don't know. They were probably just thinking, how do we make this applicable to most people most of the time? But if you're that dedicated to having a wide stereo sound and you want to get into making your own drum kit, at least you have the option. So I think we've covered this topic as well as we can, although I probably missed a few things. So if you have some questions, please put them in the comments below. And if you know something that I don't, please share it, because I'm always willing to learn from others. I don't know everything. If you haven't subscribed or hit the notifications bell, you should really do that and stay up to date, because there's always new things coming down the pipe. And I want to thank you all for joining today. Thank you very much. I will see you next time.